What's up, guys? Welcome back. So part 3 of our series, we're going to be talking about our output routing and how we're going to plan that. So piggybacking off of our previous 2 videos, if you haven't watched those already, I will link them above so that you can jump and watch those first, so this will make the most amount of sense. But before we get to the video, I did want to tell you, along with this mini series, I've got some free stuff for you. I've put together this whole process in a short ebook that also includes my free reverb cheat sheet and some basics on EQ and compression for beginners. And I've thrown in a 45-minute free training on all the basic technical parts of running sound. So if you and I had 45 minutes to sit down, you know absolutely nothing about sound, these are the things I would teach you from the very beginning. So if you're a worship leader or a tech team leader, you can use this free ebook and the free workshop to help train your team. You can keep it on hand so they can reference it as needed. So if all that sounds good to you, hit the link in the description, jakerussellaudio.com/the-simple-church soundcheck, and let me know what you think about the guide in the comments below. I hope you enjoy it. I know you're going to get a lot out of it. So now onto the video. So I've come to believe when it comes to routing, it's the most difficult part of audio. That's where everyone gets stumped, I feel like. There's fun creative sides of it, and then routing it's literally just putting together a puzzle. And so that gets difficult whenever you don't know what pieces you're going to be working with. So if we can plan our routing ahead of time so that we're not there in the moment trying to figure things out, you're going to make friends with the band and they're going to think you're amazing because they're not going to be waiting on you for the part that directly affects them being able to hear themselves. So let's piggyback off of our previous videos and see how we can build our routing. Okay, so let's map out our outputs and routing. So this is another thing you want to take into account before you start setting things up because it can save you so much of a headache. So what we're talking about here is where our monitors can be placed on stage and how that will affect our numbering. So let me explain. What I like to do is go ahead and decide who is going to be using in-ears or stage monitors, whatever it is. For the sake of this video, let's assume that everyone is going to be using in-ears. So the way that I'll number my monitor sends or my in-ear sends for something like this, I always start downstage right. So right down here at the front of the stage all the way to stage right. And then I'll work stage left. And then in this scenario, you can see there's sort of a second row here. And then I'll work from there. So it will be this background vocal. We're going to call this our lead vocal. And then it's going to go to keyboard, this guitar, drums, and bass. My reason for this is that if I'm running monitors from front of house, no matter what my setup is, if it's a band I've never met in my life, I don't want to know their names for this. I do because I think I'm a nice person. But for this, I don't care because I'm not going to put their names on the board. What I'm going to know every time, because it just becomes habit, is monitor send number 3 in this scenario is going to be right here, the keyboard, because I know that there's 2 on the front and it's going to immediately jump back here. So that's how I number them. So it'll be mix bus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Also, just for clarification here, I'm going to be acting like these are all mono in-ear sends because I'm typically running off of the X32 compact, so I don't have quite as many physical outputs to work with. So what I will do with this is how I would actually number them. So now let's put this away. How do you make that go away? Like that. Okay. Nope, I need it. Sorry. Let's get another square box. Okay. So then I will take another box over here, call this one outputs, and then another numbered list. So bus 1 will be our BGV2 technically. I think that's what this one is, yeah. As I lumped this background vocal with the keys. And then so what we're going to do is it is going to come from physical output 1. It's going to come from the XLR output 1. And then so bus 2 is going to be our lead vocal output 2. Then bus 3 will be keys, and then output 3. So now let's act like we've run out of physical outputs. So what can happen on the X32 compact, because there's only 8 XLR outputs, if you're not using a stage box, you may also need to utilize the aux outputs as well, the 1/4-inch aux outputs. So let's act like we've run out of outputs here. And so this becomes helpful when we can say bus 4 is going to go to EG, we'll call that EG1, and it is going to come out of aux 1. And bus 5, EG2, aux 2. So for this setup, this is how I would route the outputs if I was having to kind of utilize different actual physical outputs, and this is how I could put it down again, so that if someone is helping me set up, or if I just need to keep my head on straight, I can really not have to come in and start troubleshooting things again, or really quote figuring things out like I may have before. Everything's on paper, and I can trust myself in the judgments that I made previously. So this is how I could put that. And then if you are running a fairly specific main output, you could say mains are going to be on output 7 and 8. And if you set your subs up on an aux, you could say subs output 6. And then even if you have a side fill or a front fill, we'll say fills are going to be on output 5 matrix 1, and we can go over that in another video if needed. So again, this is how I would brainstorm and plan ahead for my output section, because again, this is just like our inputs. This is going to save you a lot of time if you're going to be figuring these things out in the moment, especially when a band is breathing down your neck because they're waiting on you, because you don't want to leave them waiting on their in-ears or their monitors. If I can tell you, one of the biggest things that irks musicians is when they're waiting to hear themselves. And I say that as one myself. So the quicker that this part can be up and ready to go, you're going to be making friends with the band whenever you can have things up and running and they're not having to ask you for things like this. So I hope this has been helpful. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and let me know how you would plan this out. If you have a better way of organizing this, like I've said already, I'm not the most organized person when it comes to writing things down, but this works for me, and I kind of can interpret my own notes in this way. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, if you have not, hit the link in the description, jakerussellaudio.com/The Simple Church Soundcheck for a free ebook version of this whole series and a free 45-minute training on all the basics that you need to know to get up and running with sound in general. So again, hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one, where we're going to talk about doing a line check.